The average American is carrying $22,000 in debt right now. Not mortgage debt, not student loans, just credit cards, car payments, and personal loans. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I barely make enough to cover my bills, this video is specifically for you. Because every debt advice video out there assumes you've got extra cash lying around. You don't, and the advice still has to work. So here's the real plan. No fluff. Let's get into it. Here's the situation most people are actually in. You make somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 a year. After taxes, rent, groceries, and gas, there's maybe $100 to $200 left at the end of the month, sometimes less. And every time you try to pay down that credit card, something comes up. Car repair, medical bill, a birthday, life. So the debt just sits there, growing. Here's the part that makes it worse. Your minimum payments aren't actually paying off your debt. On a $5,000 credit card balance at 22% interest, which is the average right now, your minimum payment is roughly $115 a month. Of that, about $92 is going straight to interest. You're only knocking off $23 of actual debt. At that rate, you'd pay off that card in over 20 years and spend more than $4,000 in interest alone on $5,000 of debt. You're not behind because you're bad with money. You're behind because the system is designed to keep you paying forever. Let's talk about what this debt is actually costing you. Not just in dollars, in your future. Every dollar you send to a credit card company is a dollar that isn't building wealth. That same $100 a month, if you invested it instead at an average 8% return in a Roth IRA, which is tax-free growth, by the way, over 30 years, that becomes $150,000. That's your retirement. That's your kids' college. That's options. And here's the brutal truth about debt on a low income. It's not just a financial problem. It's a trap. Because when you're broke and in debt, one emergency, one car breakdown, one hospital visit sends everything spiraling. 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. If you're in debt, that number hits way harder. This is why getting out of debt, even slowly, changes everything. It buys you breathing room, and breathing room is how you start actually building a life. All right, here's the actual plan. Step by step. Step 1, know exactly what you owe. You cannot fight what you can't see. Pull up every debt, credit cards, car loan, medical bills, personal loans, all of it. Write down the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Don't guess. Log into every account tonight and get the real numbers. Most people avoid doing this because it's scary. But here's what happens when you look at it clearly. It's usually more manageable than the vague dread in your head made it feel. Step 2, find your extra $20. Here's where people quit before they start. They hear pay off debt and think they need a windfall. They don't. You just need to find something, anything. Even $20 a month over your minimums moves the needle. Look at 3 places first. 1, subscriptions. The average American pays $219 per month on subscriptions they barely use. Cancel 2. That's $20 to $40 back. 2, food. You don't need to meal prep like a bodybuilder. Just cooking at home 2 more nights a week can save $60 to $80 a month for a couple. 3, side income. This doesn't mean a second job. It means one thing, one time. Sell something you don't use on Facebook Marketplace. Do one odd job on TaskRabbit. Pick up one extra shift. Even $50 extra a month on top of your minimums cuts years off your debt. We'll show you exactly how in a second. Step 3, pick a payoff method and actually stick to it. There are 2 main strategies. I'll tell you both, then I'll tell you which one actually works for most people. The Avalanche method, you pay off the highest interest rate debt first. Mathematically, this saves you the most money. You throw every extra dollar at the card with the worst rate. Once it's gone, roll that payment to the next. The Snowball method, you pay off the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. The idea isn't math, it's psychology. You get a win fast, and that win keeps you going. Here's the honest truth. Studies, including research published by Harvard Business Review, show that the Snowball method keeps more people on track because motivation matters more than math if you never finish. Real example, let's say you have 3 debts. Card A, $800 balance, 24% interest. Card B, $3,200 balance, 19% interest. Card C, $6,000 balance, 15% interest. With the Snowball method, you attack Card A first. If you put an extra $100 a month at it, you kill it in about 7 months. Then you roll that payment, minimum plus your extra, into Card B, then Card C. That's the Snowball in action. It works. Step 4, stop the bleeding first. This one's underrated. If you're still using the credit cards you're trying to pay off, you're running on a treadmill. You need to stop adding new charges to those accounts. This doesn't mean cut up your card. It means put it in a drawer or freeze it in a literal block of ice. Yes, people actually do this. It works. Switch daily spending to a debit card. Build a tiny emergency fund of $500 to $1,000 first before throwing extra at debt. This is the buffer that stops you from going deeper into debt when life happens. Step 5, use every windfall with a plan. Tax refund, work bonus, birthday money, stimulus, whatever comes in. The average federal tax refund in 2024 was about $3,100. Most people spend it in 2 weeks. If you put that entire refund toward your smallest debt, in our earlier example, you'd wipe out card A instantly and take a huge chunk out of card B. You could shave 12 to 18 months off your payoff timeline in one move. Make this a rule. Any money that wasn't in your budget goes 50% to debt, 50% to you. Not because you deserve a reward, but because deprivation kills consistency. Here's something almost nobody talks about. You can actually negotiate your interest rates right now, today. Call your credit card company, tell them you're struggling, ask if they have a hardship program, ask if they can lower your APR temporarily. This sounds too simple to work, but here's the data. A study by creditcards.com found that 76% of people who asked for a lower interest rate got one, and the average reduction was about 6 percentage points. On a $5,000 balance, that's roughly $300 save in interest over the payoff period for a 10-minute phone call. Also, if you have federal student loans, check your income-driven repayment options. Programs like SAVE or IBR can lower your monthly payment based on what you actually earn. That frees up cash to attack higher interest debt faster. And if you have a 401k match at work that you're not taking, that's free money you're leaving on the table. You don't have to stop debt payoff to grab it. Contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's an instant 50 to 100% return. Nothing beats that. 3 things. Do them this week, not someday, this week. 1. Tonight, open every debt account. Write down the balance, rate, and minimum. Put it somewhere you can see it. Awareness is step 1. 2. Cancel one subscription you haven't used in the last 30 days. Just one. Redirect that money, even if it's $12, as an extra payment to your smallest debt. 3. Call your highest rate credit card company and ask one question. Do you have any hardship or interest rate reduction programs? Worst they say is no. Best case, you just saved hundreds of dollars with a phone call. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. $50 extra a month every month changes your financial life over 2 to 3 years. That's real. Getting out of debt is step 1. But what happens after? Because once those payments stop going to credit card companies, where does that money go? How do you actually start building wealth when you've been broke your whole adult life? That's exactly what we're covering next. The first 5 moves you make once you're debt-free, and why most people screw this part up too.